My topic is about financial wellness. And a lot of people do say that they do wellness, but they are actually not doing wellness because they don't understand wellness. And even for me and Centonomy to have understood wellness, which is what we've been doing, it has been a journey. And the only way I can actually describe this is by talking about myself and my motivations for starting Centonomy. So I was working as a banker. Now, what would you think that in working in a bank, in an investment institution that I have, early on, this is years and years ago, you'd think I have money, but I didn't. And I knew what to do with money. I knew where to invest. I was managing people's money. I was even managing pension funds, what Waceke was actually talking about. But I did not do it. Why? And those are the questions we have to answer. And I recall, and let me go back years before that, when I was 10 years old, I had money I gave to my dad, and I always talk about this story. It's even in the book I wrote. And 8 years later, when I came to ask him, have you opened the bank account? He had not done it. And after that, I went through a period of life where I was just spending. And why I'm bringing up that story is for us to understand there are motives behind money. So sometimes we can talk about budgeting, we can talk about investing, we can talk about all that. But what are the motives behind money? And if we don't address that, you will wonder, why are you repeating the same cycle over and over again? And even for you, why are you you've earned money, maybe you're earning a higher salary, but you've got to ask yourself, why am I not wealthy? So when I started evaluating money, my first lesson was with 300 bob. I realized the money I was spending on lunch, 300 shillings per day, was going to be 9,000 shillings in a year and 108,000 shillings. No, 9,000 shillings in a month and 108,000 shillings in a year. What can you do with 108,000 shillings? So for those of you who missed it, I've used 300 bob a day. What do you do with 300 bob a day? Do you have 300 bob in your M-Pesa, in your wallet, but somehow it just disappears? What do you actually do with 300 bob a day? That's 108,000 shillings a year. And when I realized that, it changed my perspective with money. But wellness was not that I did not spend the money. It is not about I stopped spending the money. It is understanding what I valued more than the lunch and then making my money go in that direction. So I realized 108,000 shillings is a holiday. So I went on holiday, and hence my proper journey with money started. It did not start because I just knew about money. And some of you are asking, how do we get our employees engaged? It's because they don't understand that we're going to go behind the scene of what is happening and actually uncover those things that stop them. So human beings, we have experiences that have shaped. Bishop was talking about convictions, and it's like you're talking the language I was going to come and talk today, that have shaped how we see money, and then that becomes the pattern that we actually do. So again, you have an experience like me, 10 years old. Then those experiences become a belief. Whether the belief is money is not enough, there are so many beliefs, and that becomes a pattern. So if we don't address the belief, the conviction, it does not matter how much information is thrown at you or how much information you're throwing at your employees. Waceke was talking yesterday about women, that we had this engagement about women and money. Why did we go specific and start saying, let's talk to women about money? We were not talking about investments yesterday, not in yesterday's session. When they want to do investments, they'll come for the actual classes at Centonomy. But we were talking about what are those things that are blocking them. And I'm going to be very honest. And we also do men and money as well. Some women were saying they're so scared of out-earning their husband that sometimes, and maybe some of you in HR have seen this, they've rejected promotions because there's societal pressure that will be put on them should they have a promotion. Call it black tax. More relatives will be asking for money. Their parents will demand more money. And depending on society, depending on the nature of the relationship with the husband, they could or could not be conflict. But either way, they have a belief system that if I out-earn my husband, it will end up being a bad thing. Wow. So if we don't uncover that, and you teach her budgeting, etc., but you've not uncovered that for that woman, there's really nothing you're doing. It's nice information, but it's not going to change how she's seeing life. Yeah. Then there's the man's side as well. Men also have, and Waceke talks to this a lot, you've grown up knowing you are the provider. Yeah. So you may be happy for your wife, but something is also telling you, am I really, if that happens to her, you're not against her, but you're battling with a conviction. Yeah. Or you have a wife who may be comparing you to other people. Why don't you earn as much as somebody else? There are women who have had to take on debt for their husbands. So there's so many things going on behind a human being's emotions and beliefs and what they do with money, that if we don't uncover them, then really, this is what financial wellness is about. It's not about teaching you a budget. A budget is a tool, but it has to be about something. So I want to give you 4 points, I think, about financial wellness. I think there are 4 or 5, 4, yeah, 4 points. And the first one is to ask yourself, and first do it for yourself before you do it for other people. Yeah, you have to first be, I think in the HR industry, be the one who fills your cup, then you can go fill the cup for the other people. Why are you doing what you do? Even you with your money today, yeah? Why are you doing what you do? And some of you can just start putting it on the chat. Why are you doing what you do? You have had an experience with money that affects the things that you do. So ladies and gentlemen, just think, why are we doing what we do with money? Why is society doing what we do with money? Why are you doing what you do? You've had an experience. Yeah, you've had an experience. So you think you are making a choice, but choice requires that you are sound of mind. And sound of mind means that you are understanding the reason that you are actually doing the things that you do with money. So if you're spending, have you ever asked, why am I spending so much money? Why am I spending so much money? So I want you to go investigate, what experience do you have? This leads to point number 2. Yeah. We have to ask ourselves, what beliefs or convictions about money am I actually holding? And this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable, because we have to be willing to challenge hard truths, things that you have held true, things that are your comfort zone, and ask yourself, yes, this is how I was socialized, this is my experience, but do I want to carry it on? And as adults, this is when we realize it is actually our choice. Yeah, so over time in Centonomy, what are the convictions people have? All debt is bad. So even when debt can be used in a healthy way, they won't take debt, let's say to buy a house or to do certain investments, because debt is bad. Yeah. Or I am a failure because I don't earn this level of money, or I don't have money, or money is to be used to make me feel good. So, or to portray an image. What is the purpose of money? So these beliefs lead us to understand, what is the purpose of money? So you have a conviction today about money. What convictions do you have about money? Yeah. Money doesn't grow on trees. So many of us were told that without realizing it is creating a scarcity mentality. Any farmer will tell you money grows on trees, first of all. Yeah. If I plant oranges, those oranges, it ends up in the tree. Yeah. But has it been used to create a belief about scarcity? Yeah, and we've got to question that. What beliefs or convictions about money are you holding true? Yeah, we want to believe we don't have it, but we do, that we can't change it, but we actually do. So what conviction do you want to change? And in my time at Centonomy, and I was growing Centonomy, there's one time I told a client, when I was starting, especially working with corporates, and I was like, they asked me, why should we choose you? And I blurted out, I am the best. And sometimes we have to be bold with ourselves to change convictions. And when I said that, it created a new conviction in me that actually I am the best. And then I did the work to become the best. Yeah. So the third thing is, once you've understood what convictions am I holding true and what do I want to change? So you're being honest with yourself that this is indeed a conviction, but you want to work to change it. So the third place where the real work is, what patterns help me change that and develop new convictions that will work for me. What patterns help you change that? It is very easy to superficially change something, but for the wrong reason. So I stop spending money, but then I hoard it. You see, then I have gone back to a scarcity mentality. Hoarding does not create wealth as well, because you will hoard, keep it in the bank, and inflation will eat up your money in the bank. Yeah. So you stopped the spending, but to hoard. So superficially, you could be, ooh, I've stopped my spending habit, but then you're hoarding. Yeah. And if many people pay down debt to get into more debt. So you paid it, that was good, but you've gone into more debt. What is the conviction that you're still holding in your head? The conviction is, I need to have the latest model of the car so that I feel I am a success. So my success is having the car. As long as I have that conviction, even though I paid down debt because I had, it is good to pay down debt, I will enter the cycle of more.
Whoops. It looks like, hi, Waceke, are you still there?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it just went off and came back.
That's okay. That's okay. There you go.
So
Yes.
I was just saying, wellness is not just paying down that you got to pay down the debt. It is understanding what is the reason that you would keep getting into the same cycle. That's the rat race, that you keep getting into the same cycle. Yeah. And you've not changed the belief behind that, whatever. And then an intentional habit has to then be created. This is the work. The work is not that you learned, it's the creation of intentional habits. And why we're throwing out things like the spending tracker and why we've gone to that level is because we're trying to create intentional habits. I went for a talk on nutrition, and they're like, when people say they're dieting to become thinner, that is the wrong thing to aspire to. What you should be saying is, I'm eating differently to be healthier, to be fit, to have more energy. Because when you say dieting to become thinner, what it is telling your mind is, and your self-image is, there's something wrong with the way I look. And human beings, the way we are made, we are always going to resist negativity. That is why when you throw the words budgeting to someone at first, they're like, woohoo, scarcity. Yeah, even diets, we're like, woohoo, scarcity. Or we'll do them for a very short window of time and go back. So even when we are setting goals, it has to be with the right frame of mind in this, yeah? So eating well is an intention. Eating well is a good goal. The intentional habit then becomes, I'm going to make sure I have more vegetables, more fiber in my diet, and less junk. Because I'm doing that and I'm going to eat less junk because I have more vegetables, I can only eat so much, by the way. So if I'm eating more vegetables, there's less room in the stomach for junk, yeah? The losing weight happens, but more importantly, I feel more energetic. I feel healthier. Even with money, spending less is not in itself the goal. Wealth creation is the goal, yeah? Wealth creation is actually the goal. So what we're trying to do is that let's be practical with the money, yes. The intentional habit is, yes, have a financial plan, yeah? That is the goal, yeah? Have a financial plan. But also, and now to my last point, do you know what you want? So the last point of financial wellness is it actually going towards what you want? And you start understanding what you want when you have now done this work of, I'm saying, you're fleshed out why you think the way you do, what convictions are holding you back, what convictions you want to change and face hard truths about them, what intentional habits you want to form. Then you can actually say, this goal I want. If you set a goal and you don't want to do the work with the intentional habit, you actually don't want it. And many people are setting goals back to the conviction because they think they should. This is what somebody in my position must have. This is what somebody in my position, this is where somebody in my position must live. So that's the wrong goal. It's the dieting to be thinner. Yeah. So goals change a habit today. In my book, Making Sense, I have quoted, money is a tool, but in itself, it is not the life. It is a tool for the life that you want. And you have to define what is that life that you want. Once you have fleshed out all these things, what covers us from actually knowing what we want is that we are so covered up by all these convictions and conflicting messages around us. What do you want? Goals actually change habits today. If you have a goal, yeah, it will change a habit today. If you wanted to be healthy, even if you wanted to lose weight, it means you're eating differently today. You're not waiting till you're thinner to then start working on it. Yeah. So if you have a financial goal to create wealth, you have a financial goal even to get rid of debt. Even debt is not the goal. Get rid of debt so you can invest. Investment is the goal. Getting rid of the debt is just part of the process of achieving that goal. Yeah. So because if you get out of debt, if that's the goal, you'll get back into debt. Yeah. Because you'll need something to work towards. Yeah. So it will change how you spend. It will change who you want to talk to. It will change how you read. So financial goals start changing something about you today. And then the experience becomes more enjoyable because it's starting today. It's not at only one day when I don't know what happens, I will be able to invest or I'll be able to buy a home and all these things. So this journey of 14 years, Centonomy is 14 years, has allowed us to have that as our difference. We bring this understanding of what is actually happening behind the scenes. So it's not just budgeting, save. Of course, all those are covered in what we do. But we now have what is actually happening with people behind the scenes. So in not so many words, it's almost we do financial therapy and then combine it with a practical aspect. Yeah. And why we started doing this women and money, men in money a couple of years ago, and now we want to take it to another direction because we've understood women and money and men think about money differently. There's a lot of clash in relationships that shouldn't be there simply because this understanding doesn't exist. Yeah. But women need a safe space to talk about what is going on with them, and men need a safe space to talk about what is going on with them. So even in your teams, if you want us to come and do a talk specific for women or a session specific for women, yesterday we had 211 women. We advertised it for only 2 days. It shows you when talks are specific to what people are uniquely going through, they respond to it. We did not know we would get that response. 2 days, it was sold out. And then it was oversold out. And we had to make so many adjustments to move from 120 people to 211 people. Yeah. The same thing with when we do men and money. So we're going into where wellness will start being, and we can work with you to say, what is going on behind the scenes? If it's debt, it's not just the debt. Some people there's the shame of debt holding them back. There's a relationship holding them back. And we're going to be able to tackle these things with you. Even retirement, we do retirement differently because it's not just about retirement. It's about addressing money in midlife. Money in midlife, especially 40s and above. Money in midlife. How does it look? It can't be, the language cannot be the same as a 25-year-old. So it's really money in midlife. So I hope with that, ladies and gentlemen, I've given you an idea of what wellness is. And my hope is that you have taken down those points, that you first go and reflect for yourself. Why are you doing what you do? What beliefs and convictions are you holding about money to be true? And what do you want to change? What patterns will help you change? What intentional habits have to be formed? And then number 4, what do you want? It is my sincere hope you will do that for yourself. And I really, really look forward to working with you so that we can also do this for your families at work, so to speak. Yeah. Your colleagues at work, and we can have one-on-one engagements with you to talk about specifically what is the wellness point that is actually needed. Once again, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative for those who even managed to come online today. I would have loved and would have all loved to have sat on a meal, had a meal together, but I know we are going to do that soon. So thank you very much. And I hope this has assisted in understanding what wellness is, and that yes, you can bring wellness into money. And we believe, our conviction as Centonomy is people were put on earth to live abundantly, which means, yes, they have created wealth, but also they have created wealth in a way that they have been able to define the life that works for them, and money can be used to assist that life. Thank you.
Waceke, I heard you trying to put in the Centonomy cultures. You said go to your work family. I was just like, okay.
Yes.
You caught yourself saying that and saying, okay, no, your colleagues also as well. But it should be even as we go. There was a question that came through here, Waceke, how do I plan for the future but live abundantly today? That's a problem that I have. If I'm looking at the future, how do I live abundantly today?
Yeah, that is very, very, very good. And I can just again use my experience of the lunch, and it is starting to what does living abundantly, first define. Living abundantly is a very general word. What in your head is the version of living abundantly? So I'm going to use travel because that is, I love, love, love to travel. Yeah. But I did not start by traveling to, Greece. That was not my starting point, although I realized. So if I decided the living abundantly part was like, I am a person who likes to travel. That is the definition. Then the experiences, you now say, where am I at this moment and what can I do? So my first was that 300 bob lunch. At the end of the year, I can go to the coast with it. So that's travel. So I was not at the coast saying, oh, but this is not Greece, so this is a horrible. I was like, no, I've started by going to the coast. Then the next year I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I did the coast. It was Mombasa. Now I can go Diani. Oh, I can go to Lamu. And like that, and then from that, I've traveled to many countries. But also sometimes I've not been able to travel. Money, COVID, etc. So I was like, since it's travel, see, I can go to, I hear there's a really nice forest in Kikuyu. I can go and sit there because I love nature. So even this, I'm discovering my living abundantly is loving nature. So I think it's also saying it's a combination of don't stop doing everything. Figure out, how can I do what I love today with what I have? Yeah, because living abundantly is not doing one holiday, which puts me in so much debt that for the next 10 years, I can't go anywhere. Yeah. What can you do today with what you have? And when you start that, you will start allowing yourself to live more. And what also tends to happen is when you start with one thing, your mind now starts to understand, we are the people who travel. Then you start to understand intentional habit. So you tell your money, you have to work for me. We have to travel. So some of the things you then have to do, like don't buy lunch, don't buy shoes all over the place. You're like, it's not even a sacrifice anymore because I can see the goal is to travel. So once you start doing that, your mindset changes. And what we really emphasize at Centonomy, it's not just about that. It's how do I create income, passive income. So whether or not I have a salary, I will not only pay school fees, but I will also travel. But it's really just start with what you have, even the most simplest of things, even as you understand what practically you need to do with your finances, because at the end of the day, this money is supposed to work for you. You're working, so to get the money so that it works for you. Yeah. Yeah.